Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television with me, Frank Pereira. The outcome of the assembly polls in the tiny hill state of Uttarakhand will depend on the political acumen of the major players, the ruling Congress and the opposition Bharatiya Janata Party. Largely, it will be a direct fight between the Congress and the BJP. The Bahujan Samaj Party has a base in a few pockets in the plain areas and could dent the prospects of candidates from the other two parties. The last 5 years have been a roller coaster ride for Uttarakhand. The polls will be the biggest test for Chief Minister Harish Rawat, who managed to win a floor test and save his government in May last year. The election will shape his political future. The BJP, meanwhile, exudes the confidence of being better organized. The party's top leaders, including poll in charge and union ministers JP Nadda and Dharmendra Pradhan, are conducting whirlwind tours of the state. On this edition of The Big Picture, we'll take a look at the issues that will dominate the polls in the hill state. Joining me on the program today are Bharat Bhushan, editor Catch News, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dhirendra Pratap, MOS Uttarakhand government, and Ashok Mishra, news editor, Garhwal Post. Ashok Mishra, I'd like to start with you, of course, and get a sense from the ground there in Uttarakhand. What do you believe are going to be the factors that are going to influence the polls this time around?
It's basically not just one factor. Uttarakhand has faced a natural disaster a couple of years ago, and that sort of put everything out of pitch in the state. So we had a change in the chief ministership, and Chief Minister Harish Rawat had to make a lot of effort to obtain command of the state, which has led to an alienation at many levels within his party. And the big rebellion that has taken place and is continuing is going to have the major impact.
Okay. All right, fine.
Hello.
Yeah, Bharat Bhushan, like Ashok Mishra has just said, that we cannot really pinpoint one factor, but there are a culmination of several factors that could influence the polls. But what, according to you, is the biggest factor? Could corruption play a major role in these elections?
Well, it depends on which party you're talking of. If you're talking of the Congress, then there are two or three factors. One is the infighting in the Congress. The Chief Minister and the Pradesh Congress Committee Chief, they don't get along together. The PCC chief is vying for a constituency which already has a sitting Congress MLA, so he cannot be accommodated. Yes, there would be corruption, would be an issue for them. Mining and liquor were an issue where there were charges that contracts were distributed in a particular manner. People say the chief minister's next of kin are also involved in it, so that would be an issue. It will also be an issue that a lot of people have left the Congress, but equally some others have joined, so they will have to be accommodated. Those independents who supported Harish Rawat win the floor test in May last year, they are outsiders. They are being asked to join the Congress and contest on the Congress ticket from their existing constituencies. So what happens to the Congress aspirants from those constituencies? So these are the factors that will affect the Congress. As far as BJP is concerned, BJP is a top-heavy party today. Too many leaders, everybody vying for tickets have been distributed except for six I think, constituencies. But there are three former chief ministers who've seen to it that their people should get tickets. Then there are these Congress rebels, 14 rebels who have joined the BJP from the Congress and continue to join.
So that number is 15 now.
Well, 15 and now 15th, who's the 15th one?
ND Tiwari, the latest.
ND Tiwari's son.
Yes.
No, but ND Tiwari's son will get a ticket,
yes.
Rohit Shekhar.
So that
could be the 15th.
15th, yes.
So these rebels have come, and this obviously upsets all those people who all this while thought that this was a party with a difference, ideological party. They're very fond of saying that we went to serve the nation wearing khaki shorts. So what happens to all these people who want to contest themselves? So there will be those problems. Then too many chief ministerial aspirants. So ideologically diluted party, not a party with a difference. Rebellion on its hands because you're accommodating congressmen. And as I said, everybody wants to be the chief minister. Indeed. So that's going to be a big problem for the BJP.
Sure. Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP is with us on the program. Mr. Agarwal, how are you going to deal with several of these issues that have been raised by Mr. Bhushan?
No, actually, as Mr. Dadda has said, and you also said, that Dharmendra Pradhan and our party infrastructure organizationally is very strong in Uttarakhand. And we have been working on the ground level for a long time. The problem with the Congress was it's now a sinking ship, as can be seen that everybody is deserting it. So that was one important issue. Second thing is why they are deserting. It is because of the losing popularity of the Congress leadership, local leadership there. They were involved in deep corruption. Harish Rawat was himself there was a video which showed his involvement in the corruption and money transfer. So that, and the people there is no development there, and the disaster which the state saw was completely mismanaged. The disaster relief and the way infrastructure is lacking in the Uttarakhand, that are very major issue. And the Prime Minister has recently done a good work with the announcement of linking of this four Dham, Badrinath, Kedarnath, and that's a big boost for the economy of the states. So ultimately, the corruption of the current dispensation, the desertion of the people because of its losing popularity and Congress being seen as a sinking ship, and the organizational strength of our party, the groundwork which has been done under the dynamic leadership of Amit Shah ji in the center, under the guidance of Amit Shah ji and the local leaders there. So that itself and the anti-incumbency, all this together are the factors which show that the people of Uttarakhand want a change, and BJP is the only alternative which can give good governance, economic development, infrastructure, and a transparent government. I think we are very well poised to now come to power in Uttarakhand.
Okay, fair enough. Your point's taken. Mr. Pratap, I'm sure you want to respond to some of those allegations that have been made, or some of those points that have been raised by Mr. Agarwal, talking about how the government is tainted with corruption allegations, and also anti-incumbency could be a major factor because the people of Uttarakhand, he says, are fed up with the Congress rule.
These are all baseless charges. Now, in the last 5 years, we were always facing the stepmotherly treatment given to us by the union government. In Uttarakhand, there were 4 by-elections in the last 5 years, and all the by-elections were lost by the BJP. And it shows that people were never satisfied with the policies of the center. Now, I don't know on what basis he is making all these wild charges. Now, he may be talking about a so-called sting operation, but almost a year is gone, but no case had been registered. So now, on false grounds, if they wish to come back into power, or by making defections, they may think that they would be able to catch the power in the state. I thought it would remain a dream only.
But as Mr. Bhushan said, your party does not seem to be like a house in order. There seems to be a lot of infighting within the Congress itself. Now, that will definitely dent the image of the party and hurt the party's chances.
I thought BJP is taking all these peoples in their fold with this dream that they may come back into power. But people are looking towards their activities, and whatever they have done in the recent time, it is against the principles of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was a pioneer and who had made certain amendments which had been brought by late Rajiv Gandhi regarding the anti-defection law. Now, they people are making all type of efforts for these defections, and they feel with the help of congressmen they may win these elections. On the one side, they say that they want a Congress Mukt Bharat, and on the other side they had become Congress Yukt Bhajpa.
Okay, okay. Mr. Agarwal, the charge is that your party does not have its own leaders. You're poaching Congress leaders and ensuring they come into the BJP fold and trying to win elections that way. Don't you have leaders of your own, is the charge?
No, no, we have several leaders in the Uttarakhand. We have many leaders there, local. We have Nishank Khanduri ji. There are so many leaders. It is the people who are coming to the party fold. They are who are not happy with the working of the Congress. And if the Congress had not managed earlier, the government would have already fallen with the speaker, with the connivance of the speaker and the system. Otherwise, people from the Congress had deserted it completely, and they had lost the majority. They have somehow, Harish Rawat has been able to just carry on with the government with a minority status because of some of the laws. So ultimately, the basic thing is people of Uttarakhand needs infrastructure. It needs a corruption-free government which can create employment, which can create infrastructure. See the level of destruction which happened in the natural calamities. It's a natural calamity prone state, and it needs proper roads, connectivity. Otherwise, there is no mode of economic development to reach to the remote areas of the state. So ultimately, and this can be well provided only when the government at the state level works in complete tandem with the central government. At present, the central government is by BJP, and the state will be most benefited if there is alignment between the state government and the central government. They work in tandem and they are not at friction or conflict. This the people of Uttarakhand understand and know that economic development will come to state in a better way if there are joint alignment of the state, their same government in the state and the center. So this is one factor. And even Nitin Gadkari ji has said he had a strong focus on road construction, especially in the hill state of Uttarakhand. So I think PM Modi himself has committed such large funds for the development of Uttarakhand. People understand these things.
Fair enough, your point taken.
The working of the BJP government, and they are fed up with the corrupt and inefficient government.
I want to take the point that you're making to Bharat Bhushan and get a reaction from him. Mr. Bhushan, the BJP government from the beginning has been talking about cooperative federalism and, involving the states. But here you have Mr. Agarwal saying that there is no coordination between the center and the state. So it's better if the government at the center and at the state is from the same party.
So you can see how fake their cooperative federalism is. The fact is, ever since Uttarakhand has been created, and I am a Garhwali myself, I can tell you, we've had one corrupt government after another. There have been only 2 or 3 chief ministers who've been very good for the state. One is Major General Bhuvan Chand Khanduri of the BJP. ND Tiwari was very good. And Harish Rawat is a more than competent chief minister. His development work is very good. To make this kind of an excuse, it's propaganda, it's polemics. To say that BJP stands for cleanliness and clean government, they had a chief minister who was personally taking bribes of 5,000 rupees to transfer primary school teachers. I don't want to name the gentleman here. They have taken a leader from the Congress who messed up the Uttarakhand relief work. And the only reason he rebelled against Harish Rawat was because he thought, the chief ministerial chair was legitimately his. Where that legitimacy comes from is probably from genes, because he happened to be the son of a great Garhwali leader, H.N. Bauguna. BJP as a party encouraged these people to rebel. They thought that with the help of these people, they would be able to form a government. They were not able to form a government. Now, whether people of Uttarakhand want change or not will be known after this election.
Yes.
It's merely an assertion to say they want change. Everybody wants change, but what kind of change? Change for better or change for worse? So they don't. Let them say who their chief ministerial face is. Then people will know whether they'll get a clean government or they would not get a clean government. Are they in a position to do that? I don't think so. To run down each government, previous government like this is unfortunate. I'm saying I'm beyond ideology in these matters. I don't care if BJP government comes there. If it gives us good governance to the people of Garhwal and Kumaon, I'll be more than happy. But if again you get people who take bribes for transferring primary school teachers, then it's better to continue with whatever is going on.
Indeed, indeed. Mr. Agarwal, I know you want to react to that. I'm going to come back to you, but I want to get in my other panelist as well, because I've just got one reaction, one short reaction from Ashok Mishra. Ashok Mishra, Bharat Bhushan brought up ND Tiwari. How much of a factor is ND Tiwari going to be in this election?
He's not a factor.
Well, seem to have lost the line there with Ashok Mishra.
He's not a factor.
Okay.
I brought him up only to say he was a good chief minister.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Mr. Agarwal, who's your chief ministerial candidate for Uttarakhand?
One thing I want to say on the Mr. Bhushan's comment is he has already conceded that the best chief ministers were BC Khanduri ji of BJP, and even ND Tiwari has praised that he has also joined today the BJP. And Vijay Bahuguna, their leader, earlier leader, he has also joined BJP. And the only leader they have is Harish Rawat, who has lost credibility. So I think the Congress, he himself has conceded that they don't have a leader who demands credibility from the state. In our case, we have several leaders, as has been said, and finally we have said that we will go to the polls without the chief ministerial candidate. It will be decided by the legislator who will elect their what is the outcome of the election. They themselves will decide who is their leader for the to be the chief minister. So I think there are several leaders. We have good basically we work, our organization works in tandem with the state legislators, and they will decide. At present, we are not going out imposing leaders like in Congress it is done.
Is it because
MLAs, they will decide who they want their leader to be.
Mr. Agarwal, in the past when the Congress used this similar strategy, the Congress was criticized for not naming a chief ministerial face. The BJP was proud of the fact that they could put up a chief ministerial face, but that does not seem to be happening right now. The BJP is turning into Congress in a way as far as the chief ministerial candidate is concerned.
Yeah, ultimately, as has been said, it is depending upon the situation. It is for us, it's not important that a chief minister face should be there beforehand. It's important that we have a plan, we have a commitment from the people, we have an organizational setup. With Amit Shah taking the reins of the party organization has become more important in the election machinery. He has been very particular that we have a strong structure to the level of booth. We have in charge, every booth has an in charge, it has a team, then at the district and then at the every level we have a very strong team, and he is most focusing on fighting election based on organizational structure than individual candidates. So that strategy has done well in local elections, because you see many of the elections, outcome of all the local elections you see over the past 2-3 months, every local election has been won handsomely by our party.
Okay,
so that strategy has paid off very well, and that strategy being used in Uttarakhand and specifically in Uttar Pradesh, where we have a very strong organizational presence. We are fighting based on organizational presence, organizational
structure. Point taken. Point taken, Mr. Agarwal. Let me bring in the other panelists as well.
But yes, sir.
Let me bring in the other panelists as well. Mr. Pratap, one of the charges against the Congress is that you're losing your leaders. Everyone's abandoning the sinking Congress ship is a charge that is made time and again. And we've seen that happen as well over the last few years, where many of your senior leaders have in fact deserted the Congress and gone to other parties. Same is the case in Uttarakhand as well. Is that something that worries you?
Now, in fact, whenever party leaders leaves the party, it has definitely had got a bad impact on the party. I do agree with your submission. But if people goes and leaves the party for selfish gains and for self-imposition in other parties, then everybody knows that they had gone over there for self goals. So anyway, the party is thinking on these desertions, and today the party is going on to elect and select the party candidates for the forthcoming elections. And I do hope that the people who had left, almost 12 MLAs had left till now, we are taking them into we are taking new people on their seats, and we are quite hopeful that the work being done by our Honorable Chief Minister Shri Harish Rawat, that would be taken in good way by the people, and the mandate will come in our favor.
Will anti-incumbency be a factor?
Now, in fact, Harish Rawat ji is the most popular Chief Minister in the northern belt of this country, and the 4 by-elections results shows that people were always behind him. It was he who had brought Uttarakhandiyat among the people of the Uttarakhand. He is talking about our culture, he is talking about our land, he is talking about our history, and he is making new plans for the development of our new state, which is a baby of just 16 years. So people are also of the view that undemocratically his government had been brought down by the center, and the Supreme Court had given a verdict in the favor of us. So it shows that the center had not played in a democratic manner with us. They had not given the dues to us, 7,000 crore rupees which were to be given for us for the rebuilding of Kedarnath. They had not been given to us. So people are angry, and on 15th February when the election would be held, I thought the party will win with a big margin, and then people will see that these defectors would also be shown the door, whatever they had done against the democratic principles and for their selfish gains.
You know, taking forward the point that Mr. Pratap is making, Mr. Bhushan, how much of a role do you think that the political drama of 2016 will play out in these polls?
Not very much, but it will be at the back of people's mind. They would see Vijay Bahuguna and the people who went with him as opportunists, as people who betrayed the mandate of the people by trying to bring down a democratically elected government, as my friend Dhirendra Pratap ji has said. It will matter a little bit, but what people really want is good governance, accountability, transparency. And I'm saying that all these counts, Harish Rawat hasn't done too badly. Of course, there have been charges of corruption, that so-called sting and so on and so forth. I mean, all our politicians have feet of clay, both in BJP as well as in Congress. But he has been a more than competent chief minister. 23 hours of electricity in Uttarakhand. I mean, it's a record. Which other state give? I think it should be 24 hours of electricity, because ours is a electricity producing state. That's our natural resource. That's the only resource virtually, besides our human resource. That's a good thing he's done. So he's not seen in a bad light by people. But let me say this, if BJP today announces that its chief ministerial candidate would be Bhuvan Chand Khanduri, they will stand to win. But they're not in a position to do it, because they've got 10 contenders and they'll have to rule them out. You know, somebody on age criteria, somebody on X criteria, somebody on Y criteria, somebody because he's come from Congress like Harak Singh Rawat, who's, or somebody who just thinks that he should be the chief minister. So clear leaders should be defined, as these people have done in the past. They defined a clear prime ministerial candidate and they won. They defined a clear chief ministerial candidate in Assam and they won. In Uttarakhand, the party is in a bit of a mess. And that's why they are unable to do it. And therefore, that's why I'm saying that one cannot predict the results of this election beforehand, saying that BJP will win. Indeed. I don't think we can say that in advance.
Indeed. All right. We won't do that as well at the moment. But let's bring in Ashok Mishra as well. He's joining us on the phone line right now, because unfortunately the video link, there seems to be a problem with it. Ashok Mishra, as far as the BSP is concerned, how much of a role will the BSP play? Will the BSP be able to play spoiler in Uttarakhand?
Yeah, BSP has always played a role. It has always made up the majority for the Congress. And actually the legislators have been mostly opportunistic and they joined the ruling party. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
So the BSP has always played a role, and it will play a role also this time. But this time I anticipate that there will be clear majority for the BJP, because all you may say make personal comments about all the people who have joined the BJP, all the leaders, but each and every one of them has a very strong following in their areas. Therefore, even if they take 10% of that following into the BJP, with elections being decided between 1 to 3% margin, they will make a lot of difference. And this election is the BJP's to lose. As for the chief ministerial candidate, that is not an issue, because there has to be a development philosophy for Uttarakhand which works. And unfortunately, after N.D. Tiwari, who gave a start to the state, because he brought in educational institutions and set up industrial estates and things like that, there has been no development philosophy. The only development philosophy has been build things, build roads, construct buildings, whether they are empty buildings, community halls, community health centers without doctors. So that is because you get a margin from building things. So corruption, of course, is universal. Everybody is involved in it. So Harish Rawat is not going to face so much of a corruption thing.
Right.
But the basic support that he enjoys is very narrow now, because he's just the only leader in the Congress. So this election is the BJP's to lose. They start with 45 seats, and let's see how far they go down.
All right.
If this N.D. Tiwari's son is given a ticket, that will be very unpopular. So that will bring them down a little bit.
Indeed.
But
all
at
right.
the present,
I've got 1 minute left on the program, so I'd like to get quick final comments from all my guests, beginning with you, Mr. Agarwal. A quick closing comment.
I think there are two important issues. Our government has done, Uttarakhand has a big population of ex-servicemen and in the army. So we have done a lot for the through the OP scheme for the pensions of the retired personnel. That is one positive factor. And another is connectivity to the remote hills areas. And BJP has done very well across the country on the connectivity roadmap. And further, it has done, PM himself has taken initiative in developing the Char Dham circuit, and that's very important for the development of the state. And the corruption
Mr. Pratap, quick closing comments from you.
They are fed up with the corruption of
they are
Congress.
talking about the connectivity. They were having only one thing in connectivity, that is their anti-democratic policies from Arunachal to Himachal and from Himachal to Uttarakhand. Everywhere they try to dislodge the democratically elected governments, and they want to get again the mandate of the people. I think that is their biggest dream, which would be never be fulfilled by the people. I can say that.
Ashok Mishra, quick closing comment in 10 seconds from you.
Well, right now it is BJP advantage, and there is Uttarakhand is a middle class society. It works on middle class principles. So the right approach has to be adopted, which I don't think is being adopted by either party at the moment.
All right, fine. Bharat Bhushan, please close the show for us with your closing comments.
I personally, it doesn't matter to me which party comes into power. As somebody who is from Uttarakhand, has close associations in the region, I want a government that will be clean, that will not be corrupt, that will be accountable, that will be transparent, that will generate employment. And our major resource is human resource, which will educate our people, set up more educational institutions. I do not want a government which will be full of opportunists who will keep on shifting from one party to the other and bring instability to the state.
All right. On that note, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the show and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching.